help me! Help my baby!
The afternoon sun was burning hot over Balogun Market in Lagos. People were pushing. Traders were shouting. Buses were honking. Then suddenly, one loud scream cut through everything. "Save my baby! Please, somebody, save my baby!" A pregnant woman in a torn blue gown crashed to the dirty ground between two stalls. Blood was already spreading on her dress. Her hands were shaking. Her eyes were rolling back. The whole market stopped. People gathered. People stared. But nobody moved. Nobody helped. Then a small thin girl carrying a tray of bread on her head pushed through the crowd. Her name was Zainab. She was 19. She had only 40 naira in her pocket. And in the next 10 minutes, she would do something so shocking that the entire market of Lagos would talk about it for years. She would do the unthinkable. But who was this rich-looking woman screaming on the dirty ground? Why was she alone? Where was her husband? And what would happen when Zainab discovered the secret hidden inside that woman's expensive bag? Sit tight. Let me tell you a story that will shake your soul. But before I continue, please do me one small favor. Tap that like button. Subscribe to this channel right now. Drop a comment and tell us where you are watching from and what time it is there. Your support keeps these stories coming. Now let me take you back to where it all began. 3 months earlier, in a small zinc room at the back of Mushin, Zainab woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning. The room was dark. The roof was leaking. A small candle was the only light. Beside her on a thin mattress, her little brother Musa was coughing again. He had been sick for 2 weeks. The cough was getting worse. The medicine was finished. Zainab was poor. Very, very poor. Her mother had died when she was 12. Her father had run away the next year, leaving her with Musa, who was only 4 at the time. Now Musa was 8. And Zainab was both his sister and his mother. She fed him. She clothed him. She paid his school fees. She did everything alone. Every morning, before the rest of Lagos woke up, Zainab walked to Mama Tinuk's bakery in Idioro. There she collected fresh loaves of bread on credit. She arranged them carefully on a wide tray. She placed the tray on her head. And she walked into the city to sell. "Fresh bread. Hot bread. Ajij bread," she called out from street to street. She walked from Mushin to Yaba. From Yaba to Surulere. From Surulere to Costain. Sometimes she walked 12 kilometers in one day under the burning sun. Her feet were always swollen. Her neck always hurt. But she never stopped smiling. People liked Zainab. Some bought her bread because it was sweet. Some bought because she had a kind face. Some bought just because she greeted them with respect, calling every woman mummy and every man daddy. But many people also looked down on her. They saw her dusty slippers and her faded wrapper and they laughed. Some street boys threw stones at her tray. Some market women cursed her, saying she was disturbing their customers. Some rich madams ignored her like she was invisible. Still, Zainab smiled. Still, Zainab walked. Still, Zainab worked. Because every naira she made went into 2 things. First, Musa's school fees. Second, Musa's medicine. There was never anything left for herself. She wore the same 2 wrappers for 3 years. She ate 1 meal a day, usually just gari soaked in cold water. Sometimes she slept hungry just so Musa could eat. But she had a dream. A big dream. She wanted to save enough money to open her own small bakery one day. Just a tiny one. Just enough so she would not have to walk under the sun anymore. Just enough so Musa could become a doctor and never know the hunger she knew. Every night, before she slept, Zainab counted the small naira notes she had hidden inside an old biscuit tin under her mattress. 12,000 naira. That was all she had saved in 3 years of carrying bread on her head. 12,000 naira. And she still needed 200,000 to start her dream. It was painful, but Zainab never gave up. Then came that hot Tuesday afternoon in Balogun Market. Zainab had walked since 6 in the morning. She had sold almost everything on her tray. Only 5 loaves remained. She decided to enter Balogun Market because she knew the traders there always bought bread for their lunch. The market was full and loud. Generators were roaring. Women were calling. Music was blasting from speakers. The smell of jollof rice and fried plantain filled the hot air. Fresh bread. Sweet bread. Last 5. Last 5. Zainab called. A few traders waved her down. She sold 3 loaves quickly. She was happy. Just 2 more and she could go home, buy Moose's medicine, and rest her aching feet. She turned the corner near the textile section to find more customers. That was when she heard the scream. "Save my baby! Please, somebody, save my baby!" Zainab froze. Her heart jumped into her throat. She turned and saw a beautiful woman in a blue silk gown crash to the ground. The woman was very pregnant. Her belly was huge. Her hair was scattered. Her gold earrings shook as she trembled on the dusty floor. Blood was already soaking through her dress. "Help me! Oh God, help me!" the woman cried. People gathered. About 30 people. Maybe 40. Everyone was looking. Everyone was whispering. But nobody was moving. "E be like say she day die oh," one woman whispered. "Make we no touch 'em oh. If she die, dem go blame us," another man said. "Where her husband nah? Why she day alone like this?" someone else asked. The pregnant woman kept crying. "Please! The baby is coming. I can feel it. Somebody help me." Still, nobody moved. Zainab's chest was tight. She could not breathe. She had never seen anything like this in her life. The woman looked rich. Her bag was a real leather Louis Vuitton, the kind Zainab had only seen in pictures. Her shoes were expensive heels with red bottoms. Her perfume still smelled sweet even on the dirty market floor. What was a woman like this doing alone in Balogun Market? Why was nobody with her? Zainab dropped her tray. The remaining 2 loaves of bread fell into the dust. She did not care. She pushed past the crowd and knelt beside the woman. "Mummy, mummy, look at me. Look at me. What is your name?" Zainab asked, holding the woman's shaking hand. The woman opened her eyes. They were full of tears and pain. "Bisola. My name is Bisola. The baby is coming now. Please. I cannot lose another one. I cannot. Bisola, listen to me. Where is your husband? Your family?" Zainab asked quickly. Bisola's face changed. A deep sadness filled her eyes. "He left me. This morning. He said the doctor told him the baby has problems. He said he does not want a sick child. He drove me here and pushed me out of the car. He took my phone. He took everything." Zainab's eyes filled with tears. What kind of man does this to his wife? What kind of devil? "Help me. If I die, save my baby first. Please. Save my baby first," Bisola whispered. That was when Zainab made the decision that would change her life forever. She looked around at the crowd. "Please. Somebody call ambulance. Somebody help me carry her." Nobody moved. They just watched like it was a Nollywood movie. "We need to take her to hospital now." Zainab shouted. "She will die here." One Okada rider in the crowd shook his head. "Nobody go carry that kind woman go hospital oh. If she die for road, nah you go pay." "Please." Zainab cried. "I will pay. I will pay." But Zainab knew she had nothing. Only 40 naira in her pocket. The 3,000 naira from her bread sales belonged to Mama Tinuk. She had not even paid for the bread yet. And in her biscuit tin at home, she had 12,000 naira. That was her dream money. The money she had saved for 3 years. Bisola screamed again. Loud and sharp. Her body twisted. More blood came. "The baby! The baby is coming now. Please." Zainab made her choice in 1 second. "I will pay," she shouted again. "Just help me. I have money at home. I will pay everything." A taxi driver finally stepped forward. "How much you go pay?" "Whatever you want. Just help us." Please. Zainab begged. 20,000. Cash. Now, the man said with no shame. 20,000 naira. More than Zainab had ever held in her life. More than her entire savings. But she did not blink. Yes. 20,000. Just carry her. I will pay. I swear to God I will pay. The driver looked at her dirty clothes and laughed. You go pay 20,000? Get out, Jor. That was when Zainab did the unthinkable. She reached into her wrapper and pulled out the small leather pouch where she kept her bread money. She also pulled off the only thing of value she had ever owned, the small gold chain her late mother had left her, the one thing she swore she would never sell, the only memory she had of the woman who gave her life. Take it, Zainab cried, pushing them into the driver's hand. This is my mother's chain. It is real gold. Take everything. Just help us. Please. The driver looked at the gold. He looked at the dying woman. He looked at Zainab. Then he nodded. Carry her, enter, he said. Together with two other men from the crowd, they lifted Bisola into the back of the taxi. Zainab held Bisola's head on her lap. Blood was now everywhere. On her wrapper. On her hands. On her face. But she did not care. Stay with me, Bisola. Stay with me. Your baby is going to be fine. You are going to be fine, Zainab whispered. The taxi raced through Lagos traffic, horn screaming, lights flashing. Zainab held Bisola's hand the whole way. She prayed. She begged God. She promised heaven anything if he would just save these two souls. They reached Lagos University Teaching Hospital 20 minutes later. The nurses were shocked when they saw the bloody pregnant woman. They rushed her into the emergency theater immediately. You are her sister? One nurse asked Zainab. No. I just met her in the market, Zainab said. The nurse looked confused. Then who will pay for the treatment? She needs emergency operation. C-section. It will cost 300,000 naira at least. 300,000 naira. Zainab's legs nearly gave way. She could not even imagine that amount of money. Please, Ma, Zainab begged. Just save her first. Just save the baby first. I will find the money. I swear. I will find it. The nurse softened. She saw something in Zainab's eyes. Something that could not be faked. Pure goodness. Pure heart. Wait here. Let me speak to the doctor, she said. But the doctor would not start the surgery without payment. Hospital rules. Even though Bisola was bleeding out. Even though the baby could die any second. Zainab fell on her knees in the hospital corridor. She cried like a small child. She begged everyone who passed by. Please help me. There is a woman dying. There is a baby dying. Please. Most people walked past. They thought she was a beggar. They thought she was lying. Lagos people had seen too many scams. Then Zainab did something nobody expected. She remembered her biscuit tin. Her dream money. 12,000 naira. It was not 300,000. It was nothing compared to what was needed. But it was something. It was everything she had. She ran out of the hospital. She jumped on a Danfo bus. She did not have money for transport, but she begged the conductor to let her ride. She told him a woman was dying. The conductor, seeing her bloody clothes, let her on. She reached Mushin in 45 minutes. She ran to her zinc room. She dug under the mattress. She grabbed the biscuit tin. She emptied every single note. 12,300 naira. Her 3 years of savings. Her dream of a bakery. Her hope of a better life. She did not even pause. She ran back to the bus stop. She ran back to the hospital. By the time she reached, almost 2 hours had passed. She was sweating. She was shaking. She was terrified that Bisola and the baby were already dead. Doctor! Doctor! She screamed in the corridor. Please! Take this. Start the operation. Please save them. The doctor came out. He looked tired. He looked at the small bundle of crumpled naira notes Zainab was holding out. 12,000 naira. He almost laughed. My dear, this is not enough. The operation costs 300,000. I know. But please, doctor, just start. I will work. I will sell my body if I have to. I will pay everything. I swear in the name of God. Just save them. Please. Please. The doctor looked at this small, thin girl. He looked at the dried blood on her wrapper. He looked at the dust on her feet. He looked at the desperation on her face. Then he did something he had never done before in his entire career. Nurse, he said quietly, prepare the theater. I will pay the difference myself. The nurse's eyes opened wide. Doctor, just do it. Hurry. Before we lose them both. That was how Bisola was rushed into surgery. And 90 long minutes later, a tiny baby boy was born. Small, weak, but alive. Crying loud and strong. Bisola lost a lot of blood. They had to give her 3 transfusions. For 2 hours, nobody knew if she would survive. Zainab sat outside the theater the whole time, crying and praying. She did not eat. She did not drink. She did not move. Finally, the doctor came out. He was smiling. They both made it. The baby is in the incubator, but he is breathing well. The mother is stable. She is asking for you. Zainab cried so hard she could not stand. The doctor had to help her up. She walked into the recovery room slowly. Bisola was lying there, weak and pale. But when she saw Zainab, her eyes filled with tears. You came back, Bisola whispered. I came back, Zainab said. You did not have to. You could have left me. I am a stranger. You were not a stranger. You were a mother. You were a baby. I could not leave you. Bisola reached out and held Zainab's hand. Tell me your name again. Zainab. Zainab Ibrahim. Zainab, Bisola repeated, like she was memorizing it. Zainab, you saved my life. You saved my son's life. I will never forget this. As long as I breathe, I will never forget. Zainab smiled through her tears. Just get well, Mummy. That is all I want. She stayed at the hospital that night. She slept on a wooden bench in the corridor. She had no money for transport home. No money for food. No money for anything. She had given everything. But her heart was full. She had saved 2 lives. That was enough. What Zainab did not know was that something incredible was about to happen. The next morning, 3 black SUVs pulled up at the hospital. Men in suits with earpieces flooded the corridors. Nurses and doctors stood up straight. A tall man in an expensive agbada walked in like a king, surrounded by bodyguards. He went straight to the recovery room. When Bisola saw him, she started crying. He fell on his knees beside her bed and held her hand. My daughter, he said. My daughter. Thank God you are alive. Zainab watched from the corner of the room, confused. Who was this man? Why was Bisola calling him father? Why were there bodyguards everywhere? Then the news started spreading through the hospital like fire. That woman in the recovery room? She was not just any rich woman. She was Bisola Adekunle Williams, the only daughter of Chief Olusegun Adekunle Williams. The Chief Adekunle Williams, the billionaire oil magnate, one of the 10 richest men in all of Nigeria, the owner of banks, hotels, oil blocks, shipping companies, the man whose name was in every newspaper, every business magazine, every list of Africa's wealthiest people. Zainab's mouth fell open. She had saved a billionaire's daughter. The husband who had abandoned Bisola in the market was a wicked man named Femi. Bisola had married him against her father's advice. He had pretended to love her, but he had only married her for money. When the family started controlling his spending, he became bitter. When the doctor told him the baby might have some health complications, he saw his chance to abandon her and find a new wife. He had taken her phone, dumped her at Balogun Market, and driven away. He thought she would die. He thought nobody would find her. He did not know one poor bread seller would do the unthinkable. When Chief Adekunle Williams was told the full story, when he heard how a small bread seller had given her last savings, her mother's gold chain, her 3 years of dreams, to save his daughter and his only grandson. The old man broke down and wept like a child. He walked across the room to where Zainab was standing. The bodyguards parted for him. He looked at her dusty wrapper. He looked at her thin face. He looked at her tired eyes. Then this billionaire, this man worth over 200 billion naira, knelt down in front of Zainab. "No, sir, please. Please get up," Zainab cried, trying to lift him. But the old man stayed on his knees. "My daughter, my new daughter. I do not know how to thank you. The whole world has my money, but only you had something more valuable. A real heart. You saved everything I have. Everything. My daughter. My grandson. My family." Tears were rolling down the old man's face. "Whatever you want in this life, ask me. Just ask. Money, house, car, business, anything." Zainab was shaking. She could not believe what was happening. She did not even know what to say. She whispered, "Sir, I only want my mother's chain back. And I want to pay back the doctor. That is all I want, sir." The whole room went silent. The chief looked at her, then at his daughter, then back at her. He shook his head slowly, smiling through his tears. "You truly are the most beautiful soul I have ever met." 3 weeks later, Zainab's life had completely changed. Chief Adekunle Williams did not just give her gifts. He gave her a new life. He paid off all of Mama Tinuk's bread debt. He bought Zainab a brand new house in Magodo, a real house with 3 bedrooms and a real toilet inside. He paid for Musa's full medical treatment at the best hospital. Musa's cough was finally cured. He enrolled Musa in the best private school in Lagos, all fees paid until university. Then the chief did something even bigger. He built Zainab her dream bakery. Not a small one. A big modern bakery in the heart of Ikeja. He called it Zainab's Heart Bakery. He stocked it with the best ovens, the best ingredients, the best workers. He brought trainers from France to teach her how to bake the finest bread in West Africa. And he gave her back her mother's gold chain. The chief had personally gone to the taxi driver and bought it back. He put it around her neck himself. "This chain belongs on the neck of an angel," he said. But the most beautiful moment came at Bisola's discharge ceremony from the hospital. Bisola was carrying her healthy baby boy. She walked up to Zainab and placed the baby in her arms. "His name is Ade Zain," Bisola said. "Ade for my father. Zain for you. Because you are my sister now. You will always be my sister. And he will always know that the only reason he is alive is because of one kind bread seller in Balogun Market." Zainab broke down completely. She held the baby and kissed his small forehead. As for Femi, the wicked husband, his life ended in ruin. Chief Adekunle Williams used his power to make sure Femi was arrested for attempted murder and abandonment. The court sentenced him to 15 years in prison. All the property he had stolen from Bisola was returned. His family disowned him. His friends abandoned him. He sat in his prison cell and cried for the rest of his days. 1 year later, Zainab's Heart Bakery had become the most famous bakery in Lagos. Big hotels ordered from her. Embassies ordered from her. Even the State House in Abuja ordered Zainab's bread for state functions. But Zainab never changed. She still woke up at 4 in the morning. She still helped poor street children. Every single day, she gave away 100 free loaves of bread to the hungry on Lagos streets. Every single Friday, she visited Balogun Market and gave money to the small market women struggling like she once did. Musa grew strong and healthy. He became one of the best students in his school. He told everyone proudly, "My sister is the strongest woman in Lagos. She saved a queen with her last money." And on the wall of her bakery, Zainab hung one big golden frame. Inside it were not awards, not pictures of rich people. Inside it was one small piece of cloth from the bloody wrapper she had worn that day in Balogun Market. Below it, she wrote these words: "Kindness is the only currency that never loses its value." Every person who walked into her bakery saw that frame. And every person learned the lesson. Because what Zainab did that day was truly unthinkable. She gave away everything she had to save a stranger. She gave her last money. She gave her dream. She gave her mother's only memory. She gave it all to save a woman she did not know. And in return, life gave her back 1,000 times more. That is the secret nobody tells you. When you give from a pure heart, when you help when nobody is watching, when you sacrifice for someone who can never repay you, God himself becomes your paymaster. And God pays better than any billionaire. Remember Zainab. Remember Balogun Market. Remember the day a poor bread seller did the unthinkable and changed 2 lives forever, including her own. If this story touched your heart today, please show some love. Tap that like button. Share this story with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe to this channel for more powerful African stories. And in the comments below, tell me one thing. If you had been in Balogun Market that day, would you have helped Bisola? Or would you have walked away like everybody else? Be honest. Drop your answer in the comments. Also tell us where you are watching from and what time it is in your country right now. Until our next story, remember this. Be like Zainab. Choose kindness. Always.